Starting to stream up. Happy Sunday, Knicks Nation. Another edition of KnicksFanTV, the number one show for the fans, by the fans. If you're a diehard Knicks fan who loves to talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and post-game live analysis featuring live callers, smash that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Another edition of the weekly recap where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. No phone calls tonight because I want to make this a relatively quick show. Week 4 is in the books. Knicks are 3-10 on the campaign. It's been a rough and ugly campaign to start off, kind of as we expected. I mean, this week was your prototypical week for being a Knicks fan. You went from almost firing the coach to a lousy redemption effort in Chicago, bounce back against the Mavericks in the KP game. You know, Garden is electric, and then come back with a letdown game yesterday against the Hornets. So with that being said, 3-10 on the campaign. But there were some good things. I thought a couple players that had a good week. And to start it off, I think I want to highlight RJ Barrett. I think RJ Barrett had a pretty solid week, man. He finished last night's game with 22 points. 22 points and 5 dimes for RJ. The Chicago game, I thought he looked really good. Another 21 points in the Chicago game. The previous week, he had a bit down of a week. You know, everybody was questioning whether it was the load issue or so on and so forth. I just think, listen, he's a rookie. He's going to have up and down games and up and down weeks. And last week wasn't his week, but this week he bounced back. And RJ's right in the thick of things in the Rookie of the Year discussion. Right now, he's third in points per game. He's with 15.8. He's second in rebounds, 5.8 per game, and second in assists, 3.8. So we all know right now that boy Ja Morant is on a mission and lighting it up on the rookie front. But RJ's right there with him. He's going neck and neck with him. So if we could put some more W's on the board, I think RJ will be definitely in the Rookie of the Year contention. So he's hanging in there with Ja neck and neck. Another thing I liked about RJ was you saw in the Charlotte game crunch time performance. You know, crunch time buckets from RJ. Number one, let's applaud the fact that he made 2 free throws back to back in the clutch. You know, got to applaud him. I mean, he's only shooting about 60-something% from the free throw line, which is abysmal. But, you know, give him credit down the street. Even worse than that, he's shooting 48% from the free throw line. Even worse. But give him credit. Last night in crunch time, he hit 2 back-to-back free throws, hit about 6 straight points, and really tried to get us the W. Don't know where he was for that last possession, but it is what it is. We won't cry over spilled milk. Obviously, you want to see. I would have rather lived and died with him being out there to win the game for us, or Mook, obviously, Marcus Morris. But it is what it is. But nevertheless, RJ Barrett definitely had a solid week for the Knicks. Another guy that had a solid week. What can we say, man? Money Mitchell Robinson, a.k.a. the Block Nest Monster, a.k.a. Mitch Please. Mitch coming back from a couple games. He missed about 3 games with the concussion. Took a nasty hit in Detroit and you know, wasn't able to recover. So he comes back this week and, you know, picked up right where he left off. I mean, Mitch is showing why he's one of the most valuable players on this Knicks team. I mean, he's leading the league in true shooting percentage with 76. Leading the league in offensive rating with 146.8. Second in player efficiency. Blocks are a little bit down so far. He's 11th in blocks. Second in second chance points with 5.4. Second in second chance points with 5.4. And that's just Mitch's game, man. He's coming in. He's cleaning up for our mistakes. And even though the blocks are down, we talked about this yesterday on last night's postgame show. Even though the blocks are down, the thing about Mitch is that he alters a lot of shots. He changes the dynamic of the game. He impacts the game without having to block shots. And that's why Mitch is so valuable to this team, man. His athleticism, his ability to guard on the perimeter, obviously to man the paint. And he's starting to get a little bit crafty with his finishes. He's starting to get a little bit crafty with his finishes. The guards are starting to find him a little bit more with the pick and rolls. Obviously, you want to see that pick up between Frank and DSJ, RJ, Dotson, finding Mitch a little bit more. But Mitch is surely a valuable piece on this team, man. No mistake about it. Mitch had a solid week. I thought Mitch had a solid week. The only issues with Mitch is the durability, which we always talk about. And yesterday was no different. He went down with a freak sprained ankle and didn't practice today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. As you see in that play, he still finished the play on the other end after he sprains the ankle, comes back down and gets the dunk. So that just shows you the competitive spirit, the warrior spirit that we have in Mitchell Robinson. So let's see what happens tomorrow night against the Cavs at home. Will he play or not? I'm not so sure. Taj has been starting the past 2 games, and I think Taj has given us a good effort, man. I think Taj has played in these last, say, week or so since that Friday night in Dallas. I feel like Taj Gibson is playing like the player you expected him to be. And he's really coming in. He's leading on the defensive end. He's cleaning up buckets. He's knocking down a couple mid-range shots, and he's providing that leadership, that much-needed leadership, especially when the team gets into a rut. So, if Mitch can't give it a go, obviously Taj will be there, but we're still pretty, lacking in terms of front court depth from a defensive standpoint. I mean, we all know what Bobby gives us, and it's not defense. So we definitely need Mitch back, and obviously we need Taj to be Taj. Another player having a good week and an overall good season is Marcus Morris, man. The hero of Thursday night's win over the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Porzingises. Marcus Morris having an excellent campaign so far in the early season, shooting 45% from three. And really leading this Knicks team. He's really leading this Knicks team. I think he's the MVP of the team right now. That was my preseason MVP, was going to be Morris. And he's showing just that, man. He's having a career year so far, although it's early. Career highs in points, career highs in three-point shooting, career highs in rebounds as well. Mook is a competitor, man. And he defends well. Don't sleep. Marcus Morris definitely is defending quite well out there. And so that's definitely a good sign. It's a good sign for him. Not necessarily a good sign for Julius Randle, because as we've seen, the two players just don't fit well right now, and so it's gonna be difficult to see where they go with it, because obviously with Julius being your prized free agent, where do they go with it? I don't know. What do you guys think about it in the chat? Sir Rap 1906, what's going on? He says, I like Morris on the squad. Would hate to see him go. EJ1 says we got to trade him. Scotty Shaven says he will be traded. You know what? At the very least, this is a blessing. At the very least, you can say what you want about the season so far. Yeah, it's probably going to end up being a dud, and the wins are not going to be where we expect it to be. But silver linings, if we're looking to pair off some of this front court depth that we have, this is a guy that's going to get us something in return. I think he should be able to fetch us at least a first-round pick. Yeah, at least that's what we're looking for. Looking for a first-round pick. Now, with the Blazers going after Melo, that's one team off the board. Maybe look for Utah. Zach Lowe had said it on his podcast prior to the season starting. Utah could be a candidate. Maybe the Lakers. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I think you're going to have to look to trade him. I love what he's given us. I love what he's bringing to this team. But you're going to have to look to trade him and continue to build for the future. But, again, solid start and solid week from Marcus Morris, shooting career highs and, trying to do his best to win it for the team. I would have liked to have seen him out there during the Charlotte game for that game winner instead of inbounding the ball. But, again, we will move on to the Cavs game on Monday. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Sunday night Knicks. Just recapping this week in Knicks news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hit that thumbs up button for you, boy. Hit that subscribe button as well. I want to shout out, it's me, Mike Newman. What's going on? NBA Fitness Entertainment. How you feeling? He's saying bringing Ellington in ice cold made another deficient option because he was ice cold. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't the ideal finish, but let's see. EJ1 says Portland is not off the board. Melo doesn't do enough for them. You could be right. But I mean, the fact that they're adding Melo, maybe Nurkic comes back at some point. I don't know if they go after Morris. But let's see if, Robert Parrish, if Melo doesn't work out, then they could always cut him and bring in Marcus Morris. So let's see what happens. What's going on, Ari? How you feeling? Gary Singh, what's going on? Danny Landis, he said, I'd rather trade Randall instead of Mook. Yeah, I think that's a pretty high consensus amongst the chat. Certainly with Ari, we know that. But we'll see what happens. This story kind of flew under the radar a little bit and made news last week. Westchester Knicks signed Lisa Willis as an assistant coach to the staff. Lisa Willis becoming just the 11th female to man an NBA bench, either as an assistant or in player development. The Knicks hired Lisa Willis. She used to play for the Liberty, used to play for the Los Angeles Sparks, college standout at UCLA. And yeah, Knicks making history. The first female coach in Knicks history will be manning the bench for the Westchester Knicks. And this was a good story by the Lower Hudson Sports. I think it's lowhudsports.com. I'll put the link in the chat. They did a real cool write-up on her whole story and on her background. It's a very interesting background, man. I mean, she fell in love with the game at an early age. By age 11, she was recruited by San Diego State to go play basketball, and ultimately makes it into the WNBA. Is playing overseas as well, and then made the transition into coaching. So that's pretty major, man. I felt like this story kind of flew under the radar, but, and especially with all the Becky Hammon talk, Becky Hammon. Hey, we might have our own Becky Hammon here in Westchester, man. You never know. And that's Lisa Willis. So let's see what she brings to the table. She was known for her defense at UCLA and coming up in the basketball ranks. So she wants to take, that same approach to the team, as she says. And she goes along the motto of the Westchester Knicks in terms of their player development philosophy, in terms of kind of getting to know the players on and off the court. That's been the philosophy of the Westchester Knicks. Obviously, you have Allen Houston there, the GM. You have Craig Robinson there, the player development. Craig Robinson always said they got the secret sauce. Mike Miller just came from there. And the Westchester team has had some success. So let's see how that plays out. So those are my goods for the week. RJ, Mitch, Marcus Morris. Congratulations to Lisa Willis, the first female head coach. Not head coach, but the first female coach in Knicks history. So let's go to the bad. I mean, I think, obviously, the record's bad. The record speaks for itself at 3-10. But I think part of that is the perimeter defense just hasn't been where we need it to be. And this week was a prime example of it, where we just got crushed by the opposing team's guards. Whether it's Kobe White having a career night in Chicago, 8 3-pointers, lit us up. You had Devontae Graham yesterday, another 9 3-pointers, just lit us up on the perimeter. We're getting crushed. We are getting crushed. We're 21st in the league in opposing three-pointers made, giving up 12 threes a game. We got to shore that up. How do we do that? That's anyone's guess right now. We've seen a lot of different scenarios and strategies that Fizdale has deployed. I told you guys you're going to see the zone fairly soon, and it came out as early as last week. They were trying to deploy the zone to slow some of these teams down, and for some stretches, it worked. It worked in some spurts in the Chicago game, worked in some spurts in the Hornets game, but part of it is the personnel you have out there. I mean, the Chicago game, one time you had DSJ, you had ISO, you had Bobby Portis, Kevin Knox out there, all trying to run a zone, and that's just recipe for disaster. Other times you have guys out of position. You have guys late on rotations. Clearly, guys not communicating, and it's again just recipe for disaster, man. So we gotta cut that down. We gotta cut that down. I mean, this was filmed. Shout out to Tommy Beard for this. This was filmed from last night's game, and as you see here, wide open 3-pointers. You know, guys not getting over the screens. Bobby Portis there. Guys late on rotations. I mean, they had Devontae Graham had a career night against us, man. Career night against us. So we've got to cut down and really execute on the defensive end. I think overall the defense has been improved over last year. You know, you give up 100 and I believe it was 102 points last night. That's not terrible, but it's just the 3-pointers. We got to cut that down. If we cut that down just by a little bit, we could certainly be in some games. I mean, you can't the way our offense is, you know, and the way the offense can be so dead at times. You can't have these lapses on defense. You can't have these lapses on defense the way our offense has been, because we're not a team that plays good catch up. We're not a catch up all type of team. We're just not that efficient offensively to allow for these defensive breakdowns. So we definitely got to shore that up. Definitely got to shore that up. On the ugly side, I would point to, on the ugly side, I would point to the splits. And, David Fizdale was asked this week about the pressure that this team is under and playing at home. Because if you look at the splits, I mean, they're pretty glaring. I mean, averaging 97 points at home versus 102 on the road. The turnovers are up at home. The assists are down at home. Plus minus overall is worse at home. We got to figure out how we fix that. Your home is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, a welcome place. It's supposed to be where all the pressure is off you. Home is where you're supposed to go 12 deep on the bench, and your bench is doing good things, is rallying the troops. We just can't execute at home. And Fizz was asked about it. He said, his answer was, well, they're under a lot of pressure to deliver for the fans. Free agency, obviously the way free agency played out, you have guys like, he was probably talking about Julius, but not trying to mention him by name. Guys playing under pressure for free agency, guys trying to make up for past transgressions, past years' losses, and the previous years' horrible teams. And listen, to a certain extent, I can respect that. A lot of these kids, they're kids, man. They don't know what it's like to play in the Garden. Some of these kids are playing in for the first or second time. You still got to get used to that, and you got to develop a thick skin. So, the splits are certainly something I pay attention to. I mean, look at Frank's splits, home and the road. Check out his splits home and the road. He's shooting 20% at home. Shooting 20% at home. And 43% on the road. I don't know if this is the largest split in the NBA right now, but it's got to be close. 20% at home, 48% on the road. 8% from 3 at Madison Square Garden. 8. And 57% on the road. And this is through 12 games. 6 at home, 6 on the road. 8% from 3 and 57% on the road. Also, Julius Randle stuck out as well. Let's go to Randle. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Randall's. I think Randall was about 15 on the road. Randall. He is shooting 45% on the road, 38% at home. Averaging 17 on the road, 13 at home. 13 and 10 at home, 17 and 8 on the road. You know, I mean, his three-point numbers on a whole are just abysmal. But, 12% from 3 at home, 12% from 3 at home, 24 on the road. His three-point numbers on a whole have been pretty abysmal. He's got to step that up. He's certainly struggling from there. He shot about 40% last year. That was a career high. You were hoping he was going to maintain those numbers, but he's been way off. So they gotta bounce back, man. They gotta start feeling comfortable at home. It is what it is. Like, that is just what the Garden is gonna be. They want to see good effort, smart play, high IQ plays, hustle, and we could ride with it, win or lose. We'll ride with you, but bonehead plays, the same mistakes over and over, the same turnovers over and over. They're gonna let you hear it. That's just how Knicks fans are. They're gonna let you hear it. So hopefully this is building some character in these guys, and you don't want them to be playing scared at home. I mean, my guy Frank is withering on the perimeter. 8%, 20% from the field, 8% from 3. Can't make it up. And the thing with Frank is, he's the only capable defender out there in the perimeter. So it's like you almost have to live with this offensive futility for right now, because who else is going to be guarding? Who else is going to be defending on the perimeter? You have nobody. And we'll see what happens when Elfrid Payton comes back. There's no immediate timetable for Payton, but what happens there? What do you guys want to do when Payton comes back? I mean, I've said it that I just want to see this come down between Frank and DSJ. And even though we know what Payton can give us, I'd just rather not confuse the rotation. But, he's going to play. So who's once again going to be the odd man out? We see ISO has been an odd man out from the two-guard standpoint, but ISO netted a deal with Nike this week or last week. ISO Zoe signs a deal with Nike, signs a shoe deal with Nike. ISO's a sneakerhead, so congratulations to ISO. But he's a guy that's still looking for minutes. His minutes have been impacted by the free agency influx, so let's see what happens there. Macho Man says Knicks have to make a package deal for star guard. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Paul Quick doesn't think Frank is the guy. J.J. Hart says leave Payton on the bench. Fred Mickens, no need for Payton. Paul Quick says Payton needs to start. I just think I'd rather just continue the development of Frank and DSJ. We know what Payton is. I don't see him getting any better. He's a solid point guard. That's not to diminish what he is. I think he's solid, but I just rather see what these guys can be, because at the end of the day, we have a draft coming up that's point guard heavy, and I think we're gonna have to pick somebody from that draft. But again, let's see what we have right now. So to everybody in the chat, once again, if you're new in the chat, leave me a hashtag new. Happy Sunday, everybody. This was just a quick live stream. Just wanted to come through, give you my thoughts on the week, recap the week, the good, the bad, the ugly. If you're just joining us, as I said, I think RJ had a pretty solid week. Had a nice bounce back week. You saw him hitting some clutch buckets down the stretch in the Charlotte game, so definitely getting that type of experience under his belt. Mitch, solid week, man. Mitch dropped 17 and 12 last night against Charlotte. Another 16 and 8 against the Mavericks. Mitch was solid, man. Mitch picked up like he Had to make up for lost time because he did miss 3 games. So, solid for Mitch. Mook again having a pretty solid week. 45% from 3. Hit the game winner against the Mavericks. My bad this week was just perimeter play. 3-point shooting. We got to figure out a way to slow that down. We just can't handle speed that well. And that's not just a Knicks problem. That's an NBA problem. This is a point guard league. But we just can't. We sometimes we just can't handle the speed, and that's what killed us this past week. You had between Garland and Sexton, you had Kobe White. Yesterday, you had Devontae Graham. The reason we always look so good against the Mavs is because, again, matchups. We match up well with that team. We match up well with the Mavs, and they're not a team built on speed. They're a good team, they're a decent team, but they're not a team built on speed. We can match up with them. We can defend. Luka Doncic is going to do him. He's a phenom, but the speed is what kills us, man. De'Aaron Fox, Kemba. Dark Matter RA says, is it speed or is it fizz? Could be a little of both. I mean, let's see what adjustments he makes. There's always a counter. So let's see what adjustments he makes to make our perimeter defense a bit more respectable. JP, what's going on? JP says, what are your thoughts on putting together a package for Drew Holiday? Drew Holiday's making a lot of money, man. That's the only problem. Drew Holiday's a solid vet. Don't get me wrong. Solid vet. But that's pricey, man. Let's take a look at Drew. See what he's dealing with here. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. No phone calls, so I'm going to wrap up fairly shortly. Got another game tomorrow against the Cavs. Revenge game. Oh, what happened to my camera? Against the Cavs. We got a revenge game coming up. Drew Holiday averaging 16 points, 7 dimes. On the year, 40% from the field, 35 from 3. He's a pro, man. Drew Holiday's a pro, man. You know what you're going to get from him on a night in, night out basis. He's solid. Defends, solid defender as well. I mean, look at these next 2 years, man. $26 million this year. Another 26 next year. Another 27 in 2021. Personally, I'd rather just go get somebody fresh in the draft. I'll just go fresh in the draft. I love Drew. I love Drew Holiday. He's a solid point guard. But I'll go in the draft. I'll definitely go in the draft. Robin Chowdhury from Calgary says, would you pay Van Fleet over the summer? No, I wouldn't pay Fred Van Fleet either. I wouldn't pay him. I don't think this is the right situation for Fred Van Fleet. He comes like a guy like a Corey Joseph. Remember Corey Joseph that used to play for the Raptors? I mean, Van Fleet is a better player. I don't look at him as a starting caliber player. I think he's perfect where he is, because I think that's a perfect situation for him. I wouldn't go with Fred Van Fleet though. I would not pay him. See what type of year he's having right now. Ed Santana, what's going on, man? EJ1 says, no win now moves that don't fit the timeline. That I agree with, and that's why I'm not going with Drew Holiday. And he's getting older too, man. He's a solid player. He's getting older. Van Fleet averaging 17 points a game. Blowing past his career highs, man. He's doubling up everything, man. Points, rebounds, assists. Shooting 39% from the field, 40 from 3. Van Fleet's doing the damn thing for sure. I mean, his minutes are way up, obviously, compared to last year. And he's starting. Yeah, good for him. Good for him, man. But I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat about Van Fleet? Is that a yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down to Van Fleet? Would you pay him the money? Because I wouldn't. I don't feel like you could trust him. I just want to go in the draft. Let me go at it in the draft. We're gonna be top 10 anyway, so let's go see what we can get in the draft. Salute to Germany. There's somebody in Germany in here I want to say what up to. Cameronesi 52. Greetings from Germany, bro. Guten Tag. I think that's how they say greetings in Germany, man. Guten Tag. Daniel Morelli, what's going on? I see, a lot of thumbs down on Van Fleet. He's the next Scary Terry. I wouldn't trust him. Houdini's checking in from Australia. What's going on, Houdini? I'm in the draft, man. I'm in the draft. Definitely. Hey, but like I said, Van Fleet it's a perfect situation for him. He was catapulted onto the national stage last year with obviously with Toronto. Could have easily won the MVP of the finals, and so good for him. He should be in the runnings for a big major deal. So good for him. He's certainly earning it. Scotty Shave and Brandon Ingram, definitely intrigued. I can't see the Pelicans letting him go. Brandon Ingram looks like he's stepping up a bit. I want to see what he does with the game. Let me see the whole year, see what he does, and can he stay healthy? He's got kind of that wiry frame, that like Mitch-like frame. You know, I'm not so sure, but he's having a monster year, man. Brandon Ingram is having a monster year. What's up with Zion? When's Zion coming back, man? When is Zion coming back? And the injuries. Did you see this? Did you see this tweet from Channing Frye? I don't know if Channing Frye could come to the Once Nick Always Nick cookout, but did you see this tweet from Channing Frye? He posted a picture of Zion and talking about is he getting bigger? I was like, whoa, that was a little like, come on, man. He's a kid. This kid's 18, 19 years old, man. Come on. He's fat shamming Zion, man. What's up with that? Channing Frye enjoying that retirement life, man. And a ring. You know, he's fat shamming Zion over here, man. Channing Frye and D Wade checked him real quick, man. I'm trying to find that D Wade comment, but D Wade came at Channing Frye like, yo, what are you talking about, man? So we'll see. We'll see what happens when Zion comes back. Jack Peters said he's always a Knick. Yeah, some people might let him into the cookout. I don't know. I'm a little iffy sometimes. But anyway, that's pretty much the wrap. Again, we got another game tomorrow night. Knicks versus Cleveland. A revenge game for the Knicks after they got absolutely embarrassed by the Cleveland Cavaliers last week and almost got their coach's head put on the chopping block. So let's see let's see how they bounce back, man. Let's see how they bounce back, man. But, once again, man, salute to everybody watching. David Park, appreciate it. Ryan Archin. Some of you guys look new. Macho Man Logic. You guys have a good week, man. Always remember, this show is available in audio podcast format. Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, Alexa. We're everywhere, man. We are everywhere on every social media channel. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. Whatever you guys do your social medias on, you can find this show. And again, also in audio podcast format. If you guys use iTunes, please do me a favor. Leave a review on iTunes. Again, that's just how you promote us, man. There's free ways to promote us. Like this video. Hit the thumbs up, the like button right below you. Right? This is better in camera, right? The thumbs up. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. It's free. Just hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And share. Very, very big for you to share. We hit 16,000, man. I didn't even say thank you to all you guys on the live stream. We hit 16,000 last week. I got to do a giveaway. I'll do a giveaway this week for us hitting 16,000. But I say that to say, The reason we get there is because, you like these videos, you subscribe, and you share. That's how we get more people in here. That's how we get more callers. That's how we get more interesting callers like Ari. Now, Ari said one of his peoples in Israel found this show, didn't even know Ari, and told Ari that he heard him on the show. So that's how we're growing, man. It's just all organic, grassroots movement for the fans, by the fans. Often imitated, never duplicated. All that good stuff, man. So, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for your support. Tomorrow night, Knicks versus Cavs, 10 p.m. Eastern time. CPJ LSU guys, your phone calls. You guys have a good night, man. Peace.